In this video session, let us start the new concept, excretion. First, let us understand the definition. Excretion is a biological process in which nitrogenous harmful waste materials are removed from our body. So removal of nitrogenous harmful metabolic wastes from our body is excretion. So what are these nitrogenous waste materials? Urea, uric acid, creatine. These are nitrogenous harmful metabolic wastes formed in our body. Now let us understand how excretion happens in unicellular organisms. In unicellular organisms, excretion happens through the process called diffusion. Diffusion is a process in which movement of molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration happens. So this is the simplest process through which excretory materials are sent out from the body in unicellular organisms. And in multicellular organisms, excretion happens through specialized organs. See, these are multicellular organisms. In multicellular organisms, excretion happens through complex specialized organs called excretory organs. Specialized organs. Let us study the structure of human excretory system. Human excretory system consists of kidneys, a pair of kidneys. See, let us talk about kidney. There are a pair of kidneys, and let us understand location. Kidneys are located in abdominal cavity on either side of backbone. Then kidneys are made up of nephrons. These nephrons are structural units of kidneys. Nephrons are structural units. Why are they called so? Because they make the structure of kidney. Nephrons make the structure of kidney, so they are called structural units of kidney. Nephrons are also called functional units of kidney. Why are they called so? Because nephrons function. What is the function of nephrons? Removal of metabolic waste materials from the blood. So that process happens in nephrons. So nephrons function. So that is why nephrons are functional units of kidneys. Then that urine that is formed in kidneys passes through ureter. So this tube is ureter. What is ureter? Ureters. There are a pair of ureters. Muscular tubes. Ureters are muscular tubes. What is the function of these ureters through which urine passes? So passage of urine happens from kidney into urinary bladder. Then let us understand, through ureter urine passes into urinary bladder. So this is urinary bladder. Urinary bladder. What is urinary bladder? Urinary bladder is a muscular sac. Urinary bladder. Urinary bladder is a muscular sac. It is a pear-shaped sac, pear-shaped organ. Pear-shaped. And what is the function of urinary bladder? Urinary bladder plays a major role in storing urine temporarily. So urine storage place. Urine storage happens temporarily in urinary bladder. And from urinary bladder, urine passes outside through urethra. So this is urethra. What is urethra? Urethra is an opening through which urine passes outside from the urinary bladder. Then into each kidney, renal artery enters. So this is renal artery. This renal artery brings blood with metabolic waste materials for purification into kidneys. And this is renal vein. This is renal vein. So after purification, purified blood without nitrogenous waste materials, that is sent outside the kidney, out of the kidney through renal vein. So this is renal vein. So this is about the structure of human excretory system. Let us study the structure of nephron. Nephron consists of two parts. First part is Malpighian body. Malpighian body. This Malpighian body consists of Bowman's capsule. Bowman's capsule. This is Bowman's capsule. And glomerulus. Glomerulus. This is glomerulus. This Malpighian body consists of Bowman's capsule and glomerulus. This Bowman's capsule is a cup-like structure, and this glomerulus is formed by afferent arteriole. Afferent arteriole. Afferent means carrying towards. See, here, try to understand the arrow mark. Carrying towards. What are carried towards? Blood with impurities are carried towards Bowman's capsule for filtration. Afferent means carrying towards Bowman's capsule. What are carried? Blood with impurities. So, blood with impurities are carried towards Bowman's capsule for filtration. This glomerulus is formed by afferent arteriole. Try to understand. Glomerulus is formed by afferent arteriole. So this is afferent arteriole. And from glomerulus, efferent arteriole comes outside. So this is efferent arteriole. Efferent arteriole. What does efferent mean? Efferent means carrying away from. Carrying away from. See, try to understand. See the arrow mark. Carrying away from. What is carried away from? In glomerulus, filtration takes place. So impurities are separated. These impurities, no, it is urine. This urine passes through PCT, DCT and loop of Henle. Then, after the separation of impurities, blood without impurities comes out of the glomerulus through efferent arteriole. Efferent arteriole, that is filtered blood, purified blood, moves away from or is carried away from glomerulus. That is the meaning of efferent arteriole. Then let us talk about second part, that is renal tubule. Renal tubule. See, the structure of nephron consists of first part, Malpighian body we have studied. Second part, renal tubule. Renal tubule consists of three parts. One is PCT. PCT means proximal convoluted tubule. It is proximal because it is present very near to the Bowman's capsule, and it is convoluted. It bends. Convoluted tubule. Then second one is loop of Henle. Loop of Henle. This loop of Henle is U-shaped. This is loop of Henle. It is U-shaped. Then the third one is distal convoluted tubule. Distal convoluted tubule. This is distal convoluted tubule. It is distal because it is present away from Bowman's capsule, so it is called distal convoluted tubule. And this distal convoluted tubule is connected with collecting tubule. Now let us study an important part. Peritubular capillaries. What are peritubular capillaries? See, this is efferent arteriole. This is efferent arteriole. This efferent arteriole comes out of glomerulus, and this efferent arteriole forms peritubular capillaries. What does it mean? It winds around PCT, DCT and loop of Henle. So that is why it is called peritubular capillaries. Peri means around. Around which? PCT, loop of Henle and DCT. Tubular. So as these are tubules, as these efferent arteriole present around this PCT, DCT and loop of Henle, they are called peritubular capillaries. And these peritubular capillaries join with venules. And this through these venules, purified blood passes away from kidney. Purified blood passes away from kidney through renal vein. Many venules join to form vein. Many veins join to form main renal vein. Through renal vein, purified blood moves away from kidney. So this is the structure of nephron. Now let us study the mechanism of urine formation. This mechanism of urine formation can be studied under 4 subheadings. The first one is glomerular filtration. glomerular filtration. As this happens in glomerulus, this is called glomerular filtration. The second subheading is tubular reabsorption. Tubular reabsorption. The third subheading is tubular secretion. Tubular secretion. And the last subheading is formation of hypertonic urine. Formation of hypertonic urine. Let us study one by one. Let us understand what is glomerular filtration. As filtration of blood takes place in glomerulus, this process is glomerular filtration. In glomerulus, there are network of blood capillaries. When blood with impurities passes through these capillaries, water, excess of water, salts, nitrogenous wastes are separated from blood, and finally the filtrate that is formed in glomerulus is glomerular filtrate. Glomerular filtrate. This is also known as primary urine. This glomerular filtrate is also called primary urine. So this primary urine consists of water, salts, nitrogenous waste materials. As it happens in glomerulus, this is glomerular filtration. There is also other name for this, pressure filtration. To filter these materials, pressure is required. Blood pressure is required. So therefore, this is also known as pressure filtration. Then after this primary urine passes through proximal convoluted tubule. The second subheading in the mechanism of formation of urine is tubular reabsorption. Tubular. So what are the tubules here? See, around PCT and DCT, these efferent arterioles are present. They wind around them. So they are peritubular capillaries. So when urine passes through PCT from the Bowman's capsule, this tubular reabsorption happens. So what are the materials reabsorbed into peritubular capillaries? 75% water. From primary urine, 75% of water, salts, glucose, amino acids, and vitamins. So these materials are reabsorbed into peritubular capillaries when primary urine passes through proximal convoluted tubule. The third subheading in the mechanism of urine formation is tubular secretion. See, from peritubular capillaries into DCT, distal convoluted tubule, waste materials are released. See, this is release of wastes into DCT, distal convoluted tubule, from peritubular capillaries. What are the waste materials released or secreted into distal convoluted tubule? The waste materials are urea, uric acid, creatine, and salts. So these are the waste materials released into or secreted into distal convoluted tubule. So as a result, urine consists of these waste materials. Let us understand the last subheading, formation of hypertonic urine. What is hypertonic urine? Hypertonic. It means urine with less water. Urine with less water. What is hypotonic urine? Hypotonic urine. See, hypotonic urine means urine with more water. Urine with more water. Formation of hypertonic urine. It means when there is more water in the body, this excess of water is also released out through urine. That urine is hypotonic urine. See, urine with more water. When we don't take water for a long time, or in the summer season, there is less water in the body. As the presence of percentage of water in the body is less, water is required for the body. Therefore, water from the urine is reabsorbed. As a result, hypertonic urine is formed. That is, urine with less water. Then this urine passes through collecting tubule and finally into urinary bladder through ureter. This urinary bladder is a muscular sac. Muscular sac. It is controlled by nervous system. Controlled by nervous system. When urinary bladder is filled with 300 to 400 ml of urine, we would feel the urge for urination. When urinary bladder is filled with 300 ml to 400 ml of urine, we feel the urge for urination, and through urethra, urine is sent outside. Now let us understand what is hemodialysis and how is hemodialysis done and why is hemodialysis done. First, let us understand how kidneys are unable to function normally. The reasons are infection. Kidneys get infected, and injury. The third reason is restricted blood flow to kidneys. Restricted blood flow to kidneys. Because of these reasons, kidneys are unable to function normally. As a result, waste materials, nitrogenous waste materials and salts accumulate in the blood and it leads to the death of a person. The waste materials should be removed from the blood with the help of dialyzer or artificial kidney outside the body. This process is hemodialysis. Hemodialysis is a process in which waste materials are removed from the blood outside the body with the help of dialyzer or artificial kidney. Now let us understand how this dialyzer functions. See, this dialyzer contains a tank. So inside the tank, tubes are suspended. These tubes have semi-permeable lining. These tubes are suspended in a tank with dialyzing solution. So what is dialyzing solution? The solution which does not have any nitrogenous waste materials. Second point is, this dialyzing solution has some osmotic pressure. That osmotic pressure is more necessary for the removal of waste materials from the blood when blood passes through this series of tubes. Then now let us understand, this dialyzer is connected with a tube to the artery of a patient. See, line from the artery. Artery is connected with a tube and this tube is connected with a dialyzer. So through this artery, from patient, blood is pumped into dialyzer. From patient, blood is pumped into the dialyzer for purification. When blood passes through the series of tubes suspended in a tank with dialyzing solution, nitrogenous waste materials and salts are removed from the blood through the process called diffusion. Then purified blood is pumped into patient with a tube. That tube is connected with vein of a patient. Tube is connected with vein of a patient. Then the dialyzing solution with waste materials are collected into a container. Dialyzing solution with waste materials are collected into a container. So that is urine. So this is how dialyzer functions. In a healthy human being, the formation of initial filtrate per day is 180 liters. Formation of initial filtrate. Initial filtrate is 180 liters per day. But the actual volume of urine excreted out is 1 or 2 liters per day. 2 liters per day. Remaining urine, remaining filtrate is reabsorbed into blood. Now let us understand the main reason behind dialyzer and normal kidney. In dialyzer, reabsorption does not happen. That is the only difference between dialyzer and the natural kidney. In dialyzer, reabsorption does not happen. But inside our body, kidneys reabsorb from initial filtrate. Now let us understand how excretion happens in plants. So during photosynthesis, oxygen is the waste gas released, and during respiration the waste gas that is released is carbon dioxide. So this excess of oxygen and carbon dioxide move into environment through the process called diffusion. In our previous video classes, we have discussed about exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. You can watch them. Through the process called transpiration, excess of water is removed. Through the process called transpiration, excess of water is removed. Excess of water is removed. Apart from diffusion and transpiration, plants also have other strategies to excrete waste materials. Plants store waste materials in tissues of old leaves. Storage of waste materials. Waste materials in leaves. in particularly old leaves. These old leaves drop off from plants, and many waste products are stored in cellular vacuoles. In cellular vacuoles. Some waste materials are stored as storage of wastes as alkaloids, resins, gums, latex, and tannins. So waste materials are stored as alkaloids, resins, gums, latex, and tannins. Plants also secrete waste materials into surrounding soil through roots. So secretion of wastes into the surrounding soil through roots. So these are the strategies plants have in secreting waste materials.